Hello listeners, thank you for listening to the Banjaxed podcast. This is Cameron. I'm joined by
Gershon, what's up?
And Aaron.
The podcast today is just going to be giving a rundown on local rappers, and then we'll move into an interview with GK Gershon. Then we'll be reviewing our album of the month, and this month is Logic, Under Pressure.
So let's get started then. So
What's up?
the first thing we wanted to talk about, of course, was what we do as a label.
Yeah.
Primarily, obviously what we want to do is give some underground artists a bit of a platform, especially for our local community where that's quite small. As you can imagine, Ireland's not the most hip-hop centric place in the world, like
especially in Belfast.
So that's something that we're obviously looking to promote, and that's why we've created this podcast. That's why we're going to be interviewing Gershon as well here, just to give him a bit of a platform himself. And then we'll slowly hopefully build up the base and get a few more people in.
Yeah, we really want to sign other local rappers, but Gershon here is our first artist and a founder of Banjaxed Records, so that's why he was our perfect
interview, could you say?
Yep. And he'll be a regular on the podcast as well.
I was going to be here, don't worry.
So the other thing we were going to talk about was some of the local rap. So that's primarily something that Gershon and Cameron have a bit more idea of than I do, because Cameron's more concerned with the talent side of it, and Gershon's obviously friends with a lot of local rappers at the same time. So who for you guys is who's your favourite rappers other than Gershon, of course?
I better be on your top one, Cameron.
Top one? It better not be top 5.
Well, guys,
top number 1, man.
Guys that are really making a name for himself. I think Leo Miyagi. I know Leo, and Gershon's very good friends with him.
That
so
dude's a lyricist, man.
He's a really good rapper. So he put out an EP, or maybe it was an album. Bluebird. So I think that was last month.
It's got a very good vibe in that.
Yeah, the production's sick, so it is. It's really good. Like lyrics, he's there like with it all, and I think that he's going to be able to make a good name for him.
Yeah, he is, because we have plans on working together, Leo and I. Although we are good friends, we do have plans on hopefully releasing music together. But it was one track years ago.
I think I remember this one. Was this the one with you, him, and Rough Diamond?
There's actually, we worked on that one. Forgot about that track. We worked on that one, but it was one for one of Leo's mixtapes I was going to create. That track with Rough Diamond was very good as well. I performed at El Divino. But I realised how much of a perfectionist this guy is, and how much effort he puts into making his music sound exactly the way he wants to hear it.
Attention to detail, maybe.
Attention to detail is on point. Like, even like whenever I stepped in the booth and I had a little mishap, so like, nope, nah, you gotta do it again. I was like, okay, I respect that, because like he wanted his stuff to sound so on point, which is why I respect.
you can hear that, so you can.
Yeah.
And then Arcane Silks, he was featured on that album as well. Sam, is that his name? Yeah.
Sam, yeah, man.
Do you know him, or?
Yeah, he was actually there whenever we were recording that track. Sam, and he's got a cool flow. He's got the sense of...
See, to be honest, I listened to him on Bluebird, and I thought it was okay. I wasn't feeling it as much, but then I listened to his own EP.
When it comes to... Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot more, so that I thought he was better on that.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't bad on Bluebird. It was just, I felt like the beats he was going over on his own stuff suited his flow a lot more.
Which I understand. He's got his own certain vibe, and his vibe is very... What's the word?
Is it relaxed? Is it aggressive? Like, I don't think I've ever heard any of this, so...
It's not aggressive.
No, it's definitely not aggressive. It's... He has a Belfast accent, so he does.
Okay.
Which is what I like. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Another rapper which I've been listening to from... he's not from Belfast. I think he's Lurgan he's from. Jack Bashful.
I heard a couple of his tracks because you actually sent us in the album a couple
Yeah.
of days ago, and that
that one
was
is
really
Obsidian,
good.
wasn't it called?
It's Obsidian, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
That dude can rap, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy really.
The
gave me
second
song.
song on the album where he's just like flowing like at some speed, it's incredible. Like, so it's really good.
I heard
Yeah.
that as well. Yeah,
He really, really
And then
is.
he has that song. It's I can't remember. He references Castro on it, and like it does have like this kind of like Cuban
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of feel to the beats. So it does.
yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. Like, and he's not a lyricist. Like, he's a
100%.
great rapper.
of course we have probably the biggest artist in Northern Ireland would be Jordan.
Yeah, he's definitely making a big name for himself.
yeah,
he is.
he's huge in the
Ever
scene.
since I remember listening to it first during NTNG, he released a track called "Why You Lying." It was so catchy.
Yeah, I've no, I haven't. I don't think I have heard that one actually.
It was a while ago, like a few years ago, and I was like, okay,
I do it on my own. I think was the one I listened to the
by
other day.
myself.
By myself, yeah.
By myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
He did really well on that one,
Yeah.
but like he made his name through social media. He posted videos constantly of him just rapping in his bedroom.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do
realistically.
it, realistically.
Yeah.
And then he got his followers and managed to get with that. It's something that everyone kept on going back to was his Facebook page was whatever he was on.
It's strange because he doesn't even have an album out or anything on
Dude
Spotify.
pop singles out and he's so
Yeah.
catchy.
Yeah, no,
so
like
hype.
it's really good. So it is, but like it's strange, like
Yeah.
to have that and not have a full project.
That's the thing. Could he be working on something though? That's the question.
Come
Could
on,
he be?
sorry.
Could he be working on something though? That
Oh, I
way?
would
I would
assume
assume
so. Like, but it's just strange. It like it's hard to like imagine getting to that level without having some recorded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen that he's actually opening for Coolio,
Uh-huh.
so he is.
For
Yeah.
Coolio, I didn't even know
Coolio.
Coolio was coming here.
Coolio's playing bangers. Like
It's a
Banger.
Banger.
In the nightclub. Status.
the goat something.
That's just a
I think
bar.
it's just a bar, so it is.
Coolio was drinking and buying a banker. He's not playing.
No, it's gonna be dope, man.
Yeah,
Jordan's made a name. I like it.
I think Jasper Mafia as well. He's starting
He's
to
quite
really.
to get quite big. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see him on Facebook quite a bit. I've only heard a couple of songs from him.
That song I sent you, that's him and two other guys that are rapping. One's Bulletproof Cam. I can't remember.
Is it Tycoon?
Tycoon. I didn't know if that was the
Tycoon,
name
yeah.
of the group or if that was like a collective that
No, the
released
song's
it.
Tycoon.
The song's called Tycoon.
Oh right, so
Because the hook's like feeling like you.
I-
Tycoon.
Yeah.
oh yes, that's right. That must be like their name as well, because like you wouldn't make a Facebook page for the name of a song.
You don't know what he does.
Well,
No, man.
maybe he did, but like that's a bit of a strange thing to do. But anyway, I thought that song was really good, and like he's definitely starting to make a name for himself.
Yeah, I know Jasper quite well as well. And he at the start he kind of reminded me of like a
See, he's not really a rapper; he's more like a singer,
singer rap. I'm trying to think of what artist he would remind me of.
like The Weeknd,
Travis Scott.
Boom.
Travis Scott.
There we
I
go.
don't really listen to Travis Scott, so I don't really.
That would
That-
be his.
that
That
would
would
be
be
his
his
style.
singing rapper.
Singing,
sort of,
rapping.
Well, he auto tunes more than he sings, to
And-
be honest. But
But he's doing it very well, and I've noticed the growth from So Much was one of his first tracks that I first hopped on and listened to. Very, very good, very nice beat, nice mellow.
Does he make his
R&B
own
flow.
beats, or is
I'm
he?
not 100% sure, man. And then from on to now with Tycoon with that track, man.
He has that
He has
other big one
very
that's the
professional
video
sounds,
is like him
Loves
on the
it.
beach.
Loves it.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
Lovesick. Yeah, it's a good song as well.
Yeah, that's a good track.
Then the video is really sick on it.
so the next thing I think we should do is start having a bit of a discussion.
Just before we do that, there's one other rapper which I wanted to mention. Nostalgic.
Ryan,
Yeah, me and Gershom were in
Culture Night.
at Culture Night. We didn't get to stay for the whole show, but we got to see
Yeah.
Nostalgic, and man, that guy, his
His
stuff is
delivery
really good.
is
And then I
delivery.
listened to his Role Models freestyle,
Yeah,
and like, damn, that guy can rap, so you can like,
it's good, man. That shows that because we round off how many artists there. Are. Not sure, but like it shows that
I would
how
say
much
6, 7, around that.
Belfast as a whole. This is just Belfast. This is not.
yeah, and there's still
There's
artists that we can
there's still
talk
artists
about.
that we can talk about.
But we really do need to get a move on here. So
The depth in Belfast music is dope. That's what it's on the high. That's what we're here, man.
yeah.
Talk about this.
So the next thing to do is interview this man.
What's up? What's up?
This is audio only. We're going to be talking to Gershom here just because this man.
Well, they'll pick up when we're not interviewing you. All right.
What? So yeah,
Questions.
we're gonna talk to
Questions.
Gershom
That's gonna be weird.
about what he's been doing, obviously, in his time doing rap music.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing primarily I wanted to discuss. Obviously, you've released a project before. What was the name of your project?
Method to the Madness.
Your Method to the Madness, and it was how many songs?
It was 12 tracks for the EP, 2 bonus, so 14 in total.
And when was that released?
It was released under the name Young G as well.
Yeah, that was my old. That's Young G. I had to name that because I was getting older. So OG. So I couldn't go with OG, so I was like, keep it simple. Let's get my initials on there and be me. So GK was what it was. But yeah, so Method of the Madness under the name of Young G. That was way back in when I was 21. I remember I released on my 21st birthday.
Oh really?
Yeah. So what?
It seems longer than that.
It seems longer. It could feel like I stepped out of the game a whole lot longer, but yeah, I was 21.
So
2016.
Your next project that's planned for next month or sometime this year or next year, is it?
Planning possibly try to get everything done, to get everything finalized, so hopefully planning on getting our next mixing session with my new engineer Si from MFR Recordings. Shout out MFR Recordings. Will be hopefully the start of next year, start of 2019 or end of this year, depending on what the time frame is, but depending on what we can get done in that time to make it, as impactful as I want it to be.
So like, you've played some songs for us, so you have, and personally I noticed a big maturity, and I think your skills have increased, and I think production has definitely got better.
Thank you.
So is that something you've been working on your hiatus, or is that
whenever I was away? I wasn't really away. I kind of got to the stage of no longer being the artist Young G and started to become
the group you're signed with, what they call them?
Suburban.
Yeah, they're gone. So that
so
kind
to
of
speak.
That kind of puts you in a weird place.
Not necessarily. Ideally, I did want to take some. Whenever I released it with Suburban, I did want to take a little bit of a time out, and then obviously with Suburban, just things didn't go the way they were initially planned. Which is fine. That's music. That's unfortunately that was the way it was. Everyone was in a different places. Everyone was in different vibes. And Leo was part of that crew.
Yeah.
There was one big thing that Suburban did before it all sort of fell apart, and you were part of that. Yeah,
man. Chip bringing Chipmunk over to El Divino back when plastic was El Divino 212. That was
those were the days.
That was one of the days.
That was a big. It
was a big event.
Big event. And it was big for me. Very, very big for me.
It was full club, wasn't it?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Up top. Great vibes throughout. My brother was opening, and it was cool. Me and my brother were vibing together on stage, which has never ever happened before. That's the only time we've actually collaborated in any sort of way.
It was you, Leo, and Rough Diamond all performed before.
And
then your brother went on, and then it was
ASX. Yeah, my brother ASX. He came up, and then Chipmunk obviously came through with the headline,
which was crazy for Belfast at the time, because that started in just a tiny wee club and then just got upgraded and moved up, and that's one of the things to me that stands out so much about. Obviously, me and Cameron have been friends with Gershom the whole time in his career since he started rapping.
I think we've been to like every show you've done.
At least almost. So this is something that we've witnessed, and that was a big moment there. That was something that was very large in this, and sort of the journey even that we were having with this. It just sort of showed that it was possible and realistic. How do you reflect on that? So when you look back at it now, is it surreal, or how do you feel thinking about it?
In a sense it is, and in a sense it isn't. In a sense it is that I didn't expect just me releasing my first project. Then I'm opening for Chip.
Yeah.
That was a jump. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was weird. It was just, it was totally weird. And the way it isn't is that I've always had a belief in myself that I could get there, but didn't just expect it to come that soon.
Yeah, like it was very quick.
Yeah.
See, because we have been to a few of your shows, they weren't particularly your shows, they were
Nights ran by Suburban.
yeah, and to be honest, they weren't packed out, so they weren't.
Yeah.
And then to go from that to being in a club full of people with a big artist like Chip performing.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was big for the scene as well. It wasn't just big for Gershom and his brother. It was big for the rap scene in Belfast. It really just kind of showed that it existed.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like that every once in a while that reminds me of that. Like, do you remember when Stormzy came to Limelight?
Oh man!
Oh,
and
it
it
was
was £5 tickets. We were there that
We
night.
were there, man.
And that was to me another reminder that the scene is there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That shows Belfast City is not asleep with this hip hop shit.
Definitely not. So that's why we're here, and that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is that we want to try and get bigger artists like in again. We want to see that come back, so we do.
Yeah, 100% get some popping artists popping off in Belfast.
It's not just for us; it's for everyone. It's for the scene again. It's to
So,
get
but before we
bigger.
finish this interview, do you want to tell us we're obviously part of Banjaxed Records.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what interests you whenever I came to you with the idea about joining?
The opportunity, the plans that Cameron, founder and president, that you came up with, as well as
I think it's really funny that Cameron is like, right, before we end the interview, please inflate my ego.
the plans, as well as just the excitement that I'm getting back in hip hop again.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting back into the scene.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
really, the reason why I brought it to you first was because you're obviously you have experience doing shows, and you were already working on this album.
Yeah, already working on it.
So that's really is where we decided to start off, and then I came to Aaron with that, so I did.
Yeah, it's pretty dope idea. Banjaxed Records is. I'm glad that you came to me. I really do appreciate that, because it is something that.
Well, the original idea was that I was going to help manage you.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever I thought maybe we could do something a bit more.
And not just focus on me, and just focus on the scene and Belfast.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about is going to be
it's going to be a monthly segment, so it is. We're going to have album of the month on the website, so you can check that out beforehand.
we'll mention at the end of this as well.
Yeah. But we decided we'll start off with Logic, Under Pressure.
The reason that we've actually gone for Logic is because that was something that we went away as a group, as a collective, with our friend John, and we've seen Logic shortly after this album released.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't the superstar that he is today. We're a little bit hipster in that way. We've known him for quite a while.
It was a real small venue, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was tiny.
Really tiny.
It was
I'd say there's 100 people in that venue.
It was a student union in Liverpool.
And you know what was incredible about that was we've all
Manchester.
been
Correct.
we've been listening to Logic for quite a while. I think I came upon Logic. I think it was around.
I
introduced
was
me
listening to him before. I was listening to him from back. If anyone knows about this, in Call of Duty, there used to be a clan called FaZe Clan, and Logic went to school with one of the members of FaZe Clan.
Oh, really?
And that's how he became big, was from that clan using his music in the montages. So that's why he's where he is today.
It was what they call his last Young Sinatra tape. It wasn't Undeniable. Welcome to Forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of whenever I started listening to Logic, and then it was actually pretty cool to see the transition from that to then Under Pressure
to mixtape albums.
Yeah, and then to where he is now, the superstar.
And for listening to this project as well, now it's a lot of a reflection to me from where we are now, and looking back, and it's very different than where Logic is now and where he sits now within the scene. And
even though he's kind of like went back to his young Sinatra.
He's gone to his roots in terms of his rapping and style, but in terms of his lyrics, there's bits in this that he almost hints towards where he is now. He almost says that he's going to be there, and then he's proved that he's done it.
Something which I think also makes this album special for some all three of us is that when we went to the concert, we actually met Logic. We got VIP tickets.
So
we got
VIP tickets the night before.
Yeah.
Was it the night before? I thought it was the first night we got there.
No, it was the night before. It was just before it.
I thought it was literally the night we got there. We're like, fuck it, let's just buy these VIP tickets.
No. We were thinking about it, and then we were just like, fuck it. I ordered them, you transferred me the money, and that was that.
It was actually a pretty good deal for VIP tickets.
£60-70.
Yeah, I thought it was 50, so it was. But like, you look at, I was looking at Kendrick VIP tickets, and there were
that would be more expensive. I would say
400 on top of your ticket price.
Logic would be like that nowadays too. Not that high, but I would say it would be more expensive than we got it.
Even as I went to see Chance around, he would be in similar level to the time we seen Logic, and he was $200.
No, that's significantly more expensive.
It was dollars. You actually had to pay in dollars. So yeah, Logic was given a good deal.
So he didn't have to pay any transaction fees. How do you make money when you sell mixtapes?
So let's get into like our thoughts
the
on
songs. So I kind of went about a different approach. Instead of a general view, I broke down every song, and so I went. So I'd like to kind of make the way through the track list and see what you guys think. If you want to comment on stuff, we don't have to go into detail on every one. So the first song obviously is Soul Food from the album.
It's the intro.
It's
the intro, of course, but the first song.
Is he not rapping on the intro?
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't take notes on the intro.
Good job. First album, I'll skip the first song.
But I feel the album probably gets in at Soul Food.
I really like the intro. I think it's just like a really nice way to set it off. Like it's just nice and quiet, and then he's just like rapping about like how he is like what he aspires to do. Like how he's talking about like he talks about Outcast. He talks about.
He sort of he taps into themes that he mentions again later in the album a lot. So
something I wanted to say was that's the same. On that track is the same sample that Kanye West used on Bound 2.
Okay.
Like
is it?
And like it's pretty incredible how he's got like how they've changed that so much.
Yeah, man, I didn't even recognise that.
Because I remember hearing, I was like, I don't hear anything connected
to Bound 2.
But it's like so like he said this himself that was meant to be so different.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Soul Food.
So moving into Soul Food, I think this is where you sort of start to see a lot of Logic's flavour, so to speak. Logic's, of course, his flow is ridiculous, as you always expect. You don't expect anything less from him. But there was a few lyrics in that song that I thought was very Logic, and it shouts out as Logic. He mentions movies and like Quentin Tarantino videos the way through. Yeah. There was a lyric in Soul Food that was like Christopher Nolan for talking out of your colon. Catch me rolling with the realist lyricism, the illest. My chain is the chillest, Sub-Zero. Far from a hero, they chimed in Nero and Goodfellas. So there's like two movie references in there and a Mortal Kombat reference. Yeah. Like that's pretty crazy. And just like 3 bars. Like
he loves his pop culture references, so he does. But something that I didn't like I love that track, but it really annoyed me because before the album came out, I remember watching a freestyle on Sway. And he rapped those bars he did, and then I remember his question about that like later on. He's like, "Oh, I just wanted to put like he claimed it was a freestyle at the time, but then he said he just wanted to put his best foot forward on a free."
Which I respect.
I get it, but it was very. Whenever like you're watching this and being like, "Oh my god, this guy's amazing!" Like how you can everyone freestyle like that, and then whenever like you find out, oh, it was written, it's like takes a bit of away from it, like.
And sort of towards the end of the song, he opens up a bit more about Logic's vision that he really expands on in Everybody. So he talks about open your mind and maybe you can see the billions. Talking about how positivity is key, and if you open your mind, then you're gonna be successful. That's his whole idea.
It switches halfway through hard.
Yeah,
he goes hard.
Yeah,
some really great beats on that project. There's no doubt in that. Just in the interest of time, we can move on to the next one. So the next song in the album was I'm Gone. Yeah, so the hook,
I feel like it's like the most radio type songs to us.
Yeah,
there's I think gang related's really it's maybe not radio, but
it's not radio, but it's
popular song.
It's a fire song, like
definitely. I think with I'm Gone. Great flow, great hook, lots of diversity throughout, just very different from the previous song in terms of the flow. Little bit of what I would see a lot in Logic's music, there's a bit of contradiction going on in some of his lyrics. So like the hook of that is drink, smoke, vibe, fuck. It's a really catchy hook, but later on in the exact same song, like 2 lines later, he says I don't smoke but she loved to smoke and look good as fuck when she light it. So he's talking about drink, smoke, vibe, fuck, and then like I don't smoke. Like
but he does smoke.
Nikki.
He used to.
Nikki.
Yeah.
So Nikki is another really great example. But yeah, the next song in the album, because I'm Gone is great. It's a good song. It's mostly about the hook though, and I want to move into the deeper bits of the album, which is gang related, which is the next song.
I can't remember is gang related. The one does he have? Is I can't remember. It's on Growing Pains or in gang related. The line, if I sell a brick, I could buy a house.
If I sell a brick, I might buy a house. But if I find the key, they might lock me up.
Yeah. That's fucking
that is
an
a line.
incredible line. So it is.
Love the aspect of gang related because
The machine gun flow,
and the whole way, like it's a story of.
it is a very good. He opens it up saying
it's a
that
story
he's
of his brother. So it is.
Yeah,
From what
his
I remember
brother,
him saying.
That's what it is.
Gang related is selling crack to his own pops.
Yeah.
He opens it up saying that he's going to paint a picture, and he really does. He dives in and just paints the exact picture that he wanted to with that, and that's Logic always, when he tells a story in this album specifically, he approaches it in an interesting way. So he's talking about his brother and his brother's internal dialogue about he doesn't want to get Logic into the same life that he lives and everything like that.
Which was what you expect in that type of situation.
Exactly, yeah.
Logic, like listen to like Logic talk about his life, it just seemed like the most fucked up thing. It's like it's crazy.
It's an issue with him and his mom going on, but
he talks about that in his previous mixtapes with his mom, but you don't get the full story, so you don't really until this album.
100%.
There was something I picked up as well that I'd never before this most recent listen I'd never heard before. So of course you've got that like the machine gun flow that we've talked about. That's one of the most well-known things about that is he talks about the po-po and they're gonna bust in the door, so it's po-po finna bust open the door, and it's again the machine gun flow, and he starts with like so he sets that stage a full bar beforehand that he's gonna be doing that type of flow and then goes on to execute it. So does anybody have anything else to say about gang related, or if you move on?
No, move on.
So the next one is Buried Alive. I only had a couple of things to pick up. Of course,
it was a single, so it was. The concept of it's really good. So it's like the whole like fame's burying them. So it is.
Be a superstar. 100%.
So with this, I sort of went in again and picked up one lyric in particular that I thought was really Logic, and it goes really well with people. Like, do you want to be famous? So people only in your life for seasons. Word to Aunt Viv.
Oh, I love that.
That's really good.
I was actually in the car with Shannon, so it was the other day, and I like explained that line to her. Like I think that's
because obviously for anyone that's listening that doesn't understand the line, in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Aunt Viv got recast in like the 3rd season. So people in your life for seasons. Aunt Viv, because she got recast. Anyone wants to say Buried Alive? Again, it's one of the better hooks on the album, I think.
I remember it was a single as well, so it was.
Yeah.
Which surprised me for a single. I think that was actually Logic's first song he produced himself.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So
I slept on that one.
There's actually 3 or 4 songs in this album that Logic produced with 6.
Yeah, but I think this was the first one he released. Maybe.
Yeah.
It might not have been the first one he actually produced, but
it's good. It is definitely good. The next song in the album then would be Bounce. In Bounce we have the first reference to Nicki. This is the first time he actually mentions it in the album.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, did it use pick up on Nicki before he said it?
I don't.
On my second list, on
your second list, I like to think so.
On my most recent listen.
On the track, I would on the track. I figured it out. Obviously, at the end, he says nicotine.
Yeah.
But before
at the
that,
end, before he said that, I had no idea. I completely hit it.
Like when you listen to it, it's hard to pick up on it. But if you read the lyrics, it's quite clear and it's quite obvious there.
In the top, for your same breath. Yeah, share the same breath, etc.
We definitely can talk about Nicki. It's one of the most significant songs on that. We can talk about Growing Pains because that's something that we've skipped over a little bit there.
Yeah.
Which is again one of the biggest songs on the album.
Yeah, and that was like the 3rd one in the series.
And this is the next time that he talks about Nicki. And he talks about his relationship with Nicki, and there's parts of it actually remind me of To Pimp a Butterfly. They came out at a very similar time.
It did.
Well,
It's
it came out before, like Nikki and Lucy in.
Exactly.
That
Yeah,
reminded me of it.
exactly.
That because I remember messaging you because it came out the day before we went to Manchester to see Logic. Sorry, to Butterfly came out then.
Yes, it did. Yes.
And I remember messaging into like our group chat, like asking, like, does Kendrick ever specifically say who Lucy is? Because I knew Logic did with Nicki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think that was like that's a nice contrast. I think of like how one
Logic
artist
is there.
does it.
Kendrick you have to figure it out. You have to do the
Yeah.
work. Whereas Logic is, and that is again one of the flaws that you would see in his music, is that there's not enough depth there as there is to an artist like a Kendrick.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think this album is the biggest exception to that rule, in my opinion.
He's really telling his own story though, so I feel like depth isn't necessary.
That's touch and go.
I don't ever like listen to it and think to myself like, Jesus, I wish Logic was saying more here. He's telling me his story and like I like that.
Again, a couple of lines I picked up on with this there was one just in particular that I liked. It was, but I'm glad he did because it made me strong 5-0s with them K9s. So like, I think that was an interesting little like. And then following that, he said manhunt when it's game time. So the game Manhunt, which was banned controversially. And then at the end of that second verse in that, I thought was one of the best bits in the album. It's turn on the TV, let it wash my brain, pretend that my family's my family to avoid the pain. Hello children, how was school? It was good. How about you? So he gets into the idea of being in this sitcom, and he talks about facades through the entire album as well. So I think it's interesting. Again, this is almost like you see on Under Pressure, where it goes through the voicemail, and he talks about from the perspective of voicemail to get someone else.
I just thought something. That's when it kind of like fades away, and you hear like this girl voice go like Logic, isn't it? Yeah, and so I was just thinking maybe that's like his craving for smoke, like calling him.
That's Nicki finishes with that.
Yeah.
So it says and I realise I'm back in hell. And that's where it goes
It's
super
like
deep.
skewed.
It's very Kendrick-esque in that way as well. That's a Kendrick type vocal modification that he used there, and I think there's a lot of inspiration there. Influence. Yeah, that's another word for it.
I say I don't hear like I always hear criticism, but I don't like in that. Yes, I hear what you say, but like people always say like overall like he's very Kendrick inspired. I just don't hear it. I pick
up on points from different
I hear
artists.
Nas, so I do a lot more than I do.
Right. Okay.
I'm not all Kendrick here. I'm not like saying that it's all Kendrick-esque because there's bits where it's like Cast-esque. There's bits where I think it's Eminem-esque as well. Like,
there's very strong Tribe.
Of course.
Throughout the entire album of the Thalia.
The next song in this was, so this is another criticism I have of Logic, the next one was Never Enough, and I think Never Enough is quite contradictory to some of the other points of the album. So from I'm Gone, where he talks about I don't smoke but you love to smoke, this song he's talking quite a bit about how much he loves to smoke and how much he smokes, because he's impressing a girl, he's trying to impress this girl, and he's saying that he's never enough because of all these bad habits, everything like that, which kind of leads into the next song where he's having a bit of an internal battle, I think, in relation to it, in Metropolis. So
Metropolis, he talks about that as like a place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
of course the hook for Metropolis fits into that style. It's buy it, break it, roll it, light it, smoke it, inhale it, I'm gone. So again, it's just the ideas are kind of back and forth, but he's fitting it in. He is saying that there's a bit of a battle in his mind there, and I think that was worth bringing up because.
Does anyone know what the whole middle bit in that song with him talking to the girl on the train's about?
So there's an earlier lyric.
Movies.
They're talking about movies.
There's an earlier lyric as well, because I point this out because buy it, break it, roll it, light it, smoke it, inhale it, I'm gone. He says now I'm riding on a train, all this shit inside my brain. Just left a hotel in Belgium. Damn, them waffles was insane. Smoking blunts in Amsterdam. So,
oh my gosh, this is my jam.
You'll notice that the first part of that was now I'm riding on the train, all the shit inside. So the girl he's talking to on the train, he's referenced there at the beginning of that. And then 2 lines later to this, where he's talking about smoking blunts in Amsterdam, he says, I know that if I got it, if I do what I gotta do to get by, and they wonder why I never get high. So he's talking about smoking blunts in Amsterdam. 2 lines later,
and they wonder why I never get.
Exactly. Yeah. So, do we want to sort of
round this up?
Well,
I think
we need to talk about the last 2
Under
3
Pressure.
tracks.
Under Pressure is one that we.
Nikki is like the big one. That's the reveal
course.
of the nicotine, and like I think it's probably my favorite song on the album.
I would say
I would
it's
agree.
that's then Under Pressure for me. Those are the two biggest.
Yeah.
on the
Under
album.
Pressure is like that's 9 minutes of just like
It's
going through
constant.
Logic's-
his relationship with his
Yeah.
family,
It's his best storytelling that he has,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
and like see like the story
whole-
about like his sister and all, and then like with his
person that
dad,
raped her.
Person raped
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
She got E's.
and like how she like
Files.
she feels like
Yeah, exactly.
it's like she feels respected by the guy that raped her because she. I don't know. I assume it's like she doesn't feel pretty or something like that.
doesn't respect herself.
Yeah, she doesn't respect herself.
My
Like,
favourite-
it's such a messed up like situation.
You listen to 7 minutes of it, and my favorite bit about it is at the end, Logic comes in and addresses
Yeah.
the point of it. He's
He goes
calling
in.
back the family.
Exactly.
He's telling everyone why he's been busy
And
and,
it-
why he can't
Explaining
answer
why
the calls.
Yeah,
And it's like
exactly.
he doesn't like he still can't bring himself to talk to his mum
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So that's a great track. Nikki, we can move on to because Nikki, of course, is
No, it was the all way around. So it was we already did Nikki. It was Nikki then Under Pressure.
oh.
Well,
We didn't really talk too much about Nikki though. We kind of
breeze-
just
we
went
just breeze by it.
straight past it because there is a couple
There
of
is.
really nice lines in that. So
Yeah.
I love it when you're fresh. I love it when I take your top off and we share the same breath.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
a
second
great
one.
lyric there.
And like it's the double entendre really of what it means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're everything I crave. You're the only thing I would let put me in the grave. Another
Yeah.
one,
It's-
like it's just some really nice, clever wordplay there. It's very sleek.
And before you even know who Nikki is, you think Nikki's like his girl.
Yeah,
Deeply.
the whole way through.
The
Like
whole
it
way
never
through.
it
Yeah.
never clicked on me. It's like listen to Kendrick, I
And-
got that it was Lucy.
So you got
With
this.
Logic, I had no idea up until the point.
I have a comparison in that, and I think this is actually I've never heard this before. It reminds me of Eminem's 25 to Life, where he talks about hip hop.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's his relationship with hip hop versus Logic's relationship with nicotine. So I think that's a very real
Eminem's one is
comparison.
incredible because like I had
25 to Life's a good song.
I still listen to it. And I'm like, fuck me, that's hitting me every time that it's.
Exactly. So I think that might be potentially where Logic might have got the inspiration
That
around
is-
this because
yeah.
that is fairly in line because it's talking about a woman. as-
Yeah,
but
it's
it-
strange that Logic doesn't talk too much about Eminem. I kind of feel it's because he's a white rapper and doesn't want to be compared to
Compared
him,
to
so he
another
doesn't want to be
white
put in that
He's
box.
biracial, Cameron.
But he looks.
He said that a couple times.
No, I never knew that once.
So we can talk about the last couple of songs then. We have
till the end, to me, like you'd be given all the lyric quotes, but one of my favorite ones in the whole album is while talking about bank accounts. I knew you were going to have that one written down as well.
yeah, right here.
What like you said because you got it written down. I was just going off memory there, so was it? But
So won't speak
where
on my
I'm
bank
gonna
account.
read
So
that.
many commas, I'd have to pause, and I can't afford to just waste the bars.
Yeah.
So what's your perspective on that lyric then? On that
I was
bar?
like, it's very like braggadocious. So it is.
That's
But, like,
the whole
100%.
song is very braggadocious.
Yeah.
That's what
and
he's
like
doing there.
it's just like but it's like such a hard line to this like
Especially at the end when he says "Don't need for your cosign" at the end, like you can tell how much on that track that he is.
To me, I don't agree with that line, and I think that again is quite contradictory to Logic because Logic does talk about his money and his fame and his every stone that's in my chain is a milestone. Like he is
that's a good line
flexing
to
on
this
it.
too.
Yeah, that is a great line, but he is wasting some of his bars, and that's something that he does. He has filler on his tracks, and I don't think that's realistic to most of his material. This album, I think, is an exception. I think there's a lot of really, really powerful,
See, it's
strong
something
points.
I can't remember. I think it's actually in the intro track. It's like I'm not defined by the sales of my first week. The only way I feel of my first week.
It's my first week, yeah.
I was like, well, later on, like in your last one, it kind of seems like you sold like you
cared about your
every what's that one called? Every day or
The album.
one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the single of his last album, Youngstown After 4, and he clearly sacrificed like lyrics on that to make a pop song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you've kind of like contradicted yourself.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the album, I think is good, and like he didn't like compromise anything. But like
Until
it's
that
like
point.
no, he's done it in previous albums, but like it's just the fact that he said it in the first album, which I don't think he did compromise himself by like trying to sell it or make like a pop song. That's why he didn't have any features on this one.
Yeah.
So we can wrap on that. I believe. I think if we're gonna leave out we're gonna leave out all right, and we're gonna leave out driving Miss Daisy. So that's fine. We can wrap on that. So we can go around and we can sort of get some final impressions. Obviously, we've all heard the album before. We all have our opinions on it. So let's see. So Gershon, what do you think of it?
I think of the album, man.
If you had to reflect on it.
If I had to reflect, Logic, obviously, he lets us in to his life. He lets us into his backstory. Lets us into his family, his mom, etc. And I like that. I like the whole storytelling that he got going on. Feel he could go deeper though. Feel he could be more intricate. That's a good word to describe it. More intricate and much more.
Yes.
Just not saying what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Exactly. Like,
There could be a more roundabout way.
Yeah.
He's kind of direct.
But the thing is, like,
let us work as a listener, man.
Maybe,
I like being worked.
Maybe because his past is so dark, he doesn't want to be
Complex.
No, it's like there's so
Yeah.
much stuff like I was like messed up in his childhood. Like maybe he doesn't want to go and like think about that. Now he's successful. He's like,
Do you think that could be his ideology affected him as well? Because that's something that he is
Yeah, he
very
just wants to
open
be
about. He's very
positive.
positive. He's very
yeah, because
Very
ever
trans-
since
very true.
ever since this album, he's been on like he's not really been talking about his life as much.
the most
He's-
controversial thing he's been talking about is how he's biracial since
Yeah.
this album,
Yeah.
effectively.
So my thoughts on the album, like honestly, this is. I think the album has its flaws, but it's one of my all-time favorite albums because I remember I used to work in Domino's and I bought this. This is one of the first albums I bought on CD, and it was constantly in my car. So I was constantly playing this. So it was every time my phone died and didn't have any Spotify or thing, I was just playing this CD over and over again. So I must have.
I remember that.
I
Every
must
time
have
you got in
that.
Cameron's car, it would be under
It would
pressure.
under
It was
pressure.
because I had
Yeah.
a wee bad iPod pod that just died like after about half an hour of use.
That's
So,
very good, man.
yep. So I must have listened to his album 200 times plus easy. So that's why it's just like ingrained in my head, and I just love it. Like it's just a classic to me. I
So-
struggle to go back to it now though because I've listened to it so much. I kind of like want to skip over it, but like no,
It is
it's
something it's hard to skip over if you're looking at Logic
Yeah.
albums.
Yeah.
If you're looking at Logic albums, it's one.
It's the top one for
you
me.
can't skip over that album.
So I'll wrap on my thoughts as well. So obviously I think I've been probably the most critical of the album.
yeah.
But I think it's there's a reason behind it. There's a rationale, and I think that most of the weaknesses that I'm pointing out have come to the light after this album, and I still think this album is by far Logic's best album. I think he raps better here than he does most other places. There's exceptions here and there.
Yeah.
I think his storytelling is better here than it is anywhere else. Some of his lines are so witty and clever that I really do appreciate them. So
He's a spitter for sure. So
100%. As negative as I sound about it, it is my favourite Logic album, and I think he does really well. It's a great execution on it, and it's probably his most creative project, his most well fleshed out project in terms of concept. And
I don't think Logic. I think Logic has one bad album. I think the rest of them, including his mixtapes, are all great, but I just really didn't fuck with everybody.
yeah, it was not a great album. But again, I do.
Everybody.
But would you not still say that this is the best of them?
Yeah.
I would say it's the best. I'm really liking Young Sinatra 4, but it's too soon. I don't like to jump on something that's new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had 4 years to digest under pressure, so I think
Yeah,
it'd
it
be
would
fair to
definitely
give it
be
that
my
time.
favourite. So it would there might be ones that are better, but like as a personal
As a
fit,
collective,
yes, and like musically, because I feel like in the albums to come he does up his production game.
yeah,
Yeah.
So he does.
I would
but,
say
like,
so
I
as
think
well.
this one is just very personal, and I really like it.
So with this, obviously, if you guys have any comments about what you think about Logic, what you think of our opinions, you could drop them in the comments, whether that be on YouTube or SoundCloud. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this on a monthly basis. We thought we would start with Logic because it's not as dense as what next month's going to be.
And it's an important album to us, and that's our friendship, really.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah. So next week we're actually going to be doing an album that GK, or next month I should say, we're going to be doing an album that Gershon hasn't heard before.
Yes, with the podcast, we're planning on doing 2 episodes a month. So one of the episodes every month will be the album of the month, and the other one and like every other week will be either
Local?
It could be a local rap album. It could be a big album that's came out within the last month. It could just be a discussion.
Whatever we are feeling.
It could be
Exactly.
it could be like come up the end of the year. We could do like our top 5 albums of this
Yeah.
of the year.
I get
So
you.
We should just have a wild card for the second episode and just talk about whatever we want. To be honest,
Oh
that's
my
probably
God.
Yeah.
talk about Red Dead Redemption.
so anyway, the album for next month, if you want to listen along, will be
Liquid
Jizza,
Swords.
Liquid Swords. Jizza.
Can't wait to hear that. I haven't heard that one, so bring it on.
And
Argu-
as we've discussed, Gershom is quite mainstream as well, so this is going to be a pretty big introduction for him to something that he's never heard before.
Even though the Woo aren't too underground, but
it's an
individual
underground album.
The individual members, I think, are more underground than
Some
the
of them.
entire Woo.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
of them, like I would say, Method Man isn't as like Method Man's more mainstream than
Genius is pretty
yeah.
underground.
So that's what we're doing next week. Hope you guys tune
Next
back
month.
in. Next month.
Next month.
Jeez, every time.
Get it right, Aaron.
So hopefully you guys tune in on that. And I think that's it. That we're gonna wrap
Yeah,
here.
don't
Just-
forget to check banjaxedrecords.net.
Got it right this time.